Hi, every people. Eliora here with a new top 6 list. Continuing along my Pokemon journey, I've decided to take off the fangirl glasses for once, and I'm going to talk about something that actually slightly bugs me in the Pokemon universe. Every so often, you will see a Pokemon in the game that you just kind of scratch your head at. It's either its design or its typing that just doesn't make sense to you. In this case, I'm going to be talking about Pokemon that, in my personal opinion, have been mistyped. My top 6 mistyped Pokemon starting now.
Number 6.
Every starting bird in every single game. Okay, in every generation there is a rodent, a bug, and a small bird that you will run into as you set out on your journey. It's a pretty good way to start, since these creatures are typically weak with potential to grow with the trainer if they keep them, or just as a launching point to get stronger Pokemon later. That's not my issue here. My issue is that whenever you run into one of these little sparrows or pigeons, they're not only flying type, but normal type? Why? There's literally only one Pokemon in existence that is a pure flying type, and that is a bloody legendary Pokemon that did not exist until Generation 5. Why aren't there any birds out there that are just flying type? Why sprinkle in the normal type with that? What's the point? I just want my Pidgeot or my Swellow to be monotype. Normal type's weak to fighting type. Flying type is strong to fighting type. What's the point of having the two on a bird that neutralizes the advantage?
Number 5.
Sudowoodo. Anyone who's been a fan of Pokemon since Generation 2 has heard this one before, but Sudowoodo. It's a tree. It was intentionally designed to resemble a tree. It even stands as a roadblock for a while in Johto, mimicking the trees around it. I have no problem with this at all. In fact, I find it interesting that a Pokemon would just stand there and pretend it was a tree. My issue with it is that it's a rock. It's rock type. Why? I get it's supposed to be a twist, but couldn't the twist have just been that the strange tree was actually just a Pokemon without that typing being weird? This was even a plot point for an entire episode of the anime, where the two researchers that were investigating Sudowoodo were trying to determine what type Sudowoodo was. It might have been slightly interesting back then, but come on. If you insist on it being a rock type, dual type it with grass as well. That would have made far more sense and been much more interesting.
Number 4.
Drapion. Okay, let me be clear. I adore Drapion. I love its design, and while I don't find myself raising them very often, I find it to be very fun and powerful when I do. I just have one question. When it evolves from Scorpy, why does its bug typing change to dark type? Scorpy and Drapion are based on scorpions and Vinegaroon. I still can't pronounce that word. But these are both arachnids. Bugs. It being poison makes absolutely perfect sense. But why does it go from bug type to dark type? And bear in mind, dark type is my second favorite type. I really just see no reason for Drapion to be a dark type when bug is far more logical.
Number 3.
Snubbull and Granbull. Alright, I'm gonna get some angry comments for this, but I don't really care. I don't understand why Snubbull and Granbull were turned into fairy type Pokemon. I've heard in plenty of places that Snubbull is considered adorable, a view I don't share personally, but seriously, if that's your only justification, you need to rethink. Look at this thing's stats. Look where its strength lies. physical attack. Now take a look at the same type moves. There is literally only one physical move in the admittedly limited roster of fairy type moves. What this effectively does is commit typing suicide. Snubbull and Granbull excel at something that is, in general, just outside of fairy's scope. So yeah, great call, designers. It's not cute, it's not a special attack user, so what made you make this call?
Number 2.
Goomy evolution line. I actively avoided the Pokédex for the 6th generation before X and Y came out, so I went into the game blind to most things. The only things I knew was that there was a new type and that this was a small Pokédex comparatively. So when I reached the swamp and encountered what looked like a slimy little ball of ooze, I was like, ooh, neat! I like poison Pokemon, let's catch it. I catch it, and when I go to look at it, dragon? You're telling me this swollen, ready to pop pimple is a dragon? Now, I'll admit, Goomy is not the first dragon to catch me off guard with its typing, but this thing has absolutely nothing that makes me think of a dragon. Now, I would totally be groovy with it if it were a dual type. A poison dragon sounds neat in my opinion, and I don't understand why they didn't do that. Not only would it have been far more sensible, it would have made it an interesting foil to the new fairy type. Fairies can't be touched by dragons, but what if a dragon could throw the toxins that are a fairy's greatest weakness? Doesn't that sound cool? And even better, we find this creature right before the fairy gym. I just don't get it.
Number 1.
Gothitelle. Here she is, the Pokemon that actually inspired me to do this list to begin with. Okay, a lesser known fact about me is that I am a huge fan of Gothica Lolita stuff. I'll even ignore my dislike of frills and lace for it. Gothica represents the darkness, the shadows. It is enigma and mystery. Therefore, one must wonder, why is the officially Gothic Pokemon not a dark type? You want it to be psychic? Sure, I can get behind that. I can totally buy it. But why isn't it a dual type? It needs to be a dark type given its inspiration. We get a dark psychic type a generation later, but I can't help but feel like Gothic was completely misrepresented with the way that Gothitelle was typed as nothing but psychic. Do I hate her? Not in the slightest. Actually, quite the opposite. I love Gothitelle a lot, but that's my point. This Pokemon is good, and I really believe that adding Dark type would have added a little something special to bring a little bit of light to the darkness of Gothica. Thanks for watching this video. And if you disagree with me or there are other Pokemon you feel should have different typing, let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next video. And if you like this content, consider supporting me on Patreon.